Well, welcome to the live stream. Thanks for joining me. What I'm going to do today is share some, I think, pretty exciting information about how you can change the way that you communicate and reach your audience. Now, this is properly live. Like I mentioned in the emails, it's me, a camera, and some lights and some mics. And what I'm going to show is how one person with this kind of setup and a database can reach more people than a team of telesales people, a team of BDRs and salespeople put together. So if that's of interest, let's get on with it. There's been a bit of a problem, I suppose, over the past 12 months, and it has massively affected how people generate new business. Lockdown, COVID, and all the other things that go with it have caused just immense problems with companies. And notwithstanding that, there has always been a problem for businesses, especially B2B. This is all about B2B. This is not about B2C or anything else like that. It is specifically about excuse me, technology, software, hardware and services. So if you're involved in any of those areas, then this is for you. This really is for you. So over the past, I don't know, 50, 60, 70 years, we have always been driven to generate business in the same way, and that is based upon cold calling. Whether it was a salesperson cold calling or getting teams of people to do the cold calling. So really nothing's changed. Then we had the internet. You think, well, okay, great, got the internet. Now what's going to happen? Then it transferred or transposed, moved, if you want to call it that way, to using email. Email then evolved into using marketing automation platforms, etc. And the reason I'm just going over this, it's essential that you kind of acknowledge with me about the problems that, or the way that we have produced and created new business in the past. It's really important because it's from that this new methodology will make sense. So, looking at marketing automation, looking at the way that people look to generate new business through demand gen, lead gen, and so on. What we do know is that about 1% of our chosen vertical markets are in the market for what we sell at any one time. And of those people now, because of the internet, 80%, 70-80% of their research and analysis is done digitally before they'll even entertain a conversation with you. And so it causes a bit of a problem, really, because what businesses have attempted to do is scale telesales, which is impossible. I mean, a bit of background about where I've come from. I started working for myself in 1987. I was involved in sales in 84. Started working for myself in 87, selling technology and if it went into an office, I sold it. And then moved into telephony and voice over IP and CRM integration, and then CRM integration with marketing automation. And then got more and more involved in specifically marketing, because once you've sold millions of pounds worth of gear and technology and helped people sell millions of pounds over the internet and so on, you kind of think that part of it's fluke. Is it really your expertise? Well, I suppose it is, but it seems too much by chance that business comes in. So I set out on a journey to say, I want to find out what's this all about. Why are these marketing people saying we should do this and then this and then this? And so I made it my business to learn everything I possibly could learn about marketing from a salesperson's perspective. I mean, the most people I employed at any one time was just under 40. So I know about the hiring and firing and telesales and looking to be as efficient as possible. but always looking to scale that process. And there's loads of books about it and so on, from E-Myth and so on. But how does it work? Why does it work? What should work? And over that time, I realised that it was more about the business to consumer methodology being forced into the business to business arena. And of course, we've got two fundamental differences. We've got people in B2C buy because they desire something personally. In B2B, we buy products and services based upon, from a director's perspective, based upon, is this going to change my business? Is it going to make me more money? Is it going to make me more profitable? And my staff, your staff, make decisions kind of based on that. But in the back of their mind, it's if I make this decision, I'm going to keep my job. So the drivers are different. So when it comes to looking at being able to scale, back in the 2010-ish, marketing automation platforms came in. We started looking at post-click marketing, started looking at landing pages, started saying, right, okay, well, in order to get leads, because sales want leads and marketing have to provide marketing qualified leads, we'll put our content behind an email form, and then once we've done that, we'll then encourage customers, if they want the document that we're promoting, they'll give us their email address and details, and then we can follow it up with a phone call and make an appointment to go and see them. On the face of it, it sounds great. But the trouble is what's happened is that all of your good information's been hidden. Your customers can't see it because they have to fill out a form. So if your customers can't see it, Google can't see it. And therein lies a massive problem for B2B, because you're not able to communicate your message to a broad audience unless they're prepared to enter into a transaction with you by filling out a form. Personally, if I want something personal, for me personally, I haven't got a problem giving them my personal email address. Trainers, gear, whatever. But whatever I do personally. When it comes to business, I don't want people pestering me and chasing me up. And I suspect, nor do you. So we're reticent to do that. So the problem has grown and got bigger and bigger. And it's not me saying it. It's you. This might surprise you. Over the past eight years or so just after marketing automation came into its own and started becoming popular with Marketo, Pardot, Eloqua and so on, the average tenure employment term for CMOs, for senior marketing people, is 18 months. So something's not quite right, because they join and they go. Why is that? Well, it's because they come on board, promise the earth, they're going to set your world alight, and then when it doesn't happen, they leave, they get fired. 3 months to come in, set it all up, a year to implement it, and 3 months to say, well, you haven't done it. If you don't make something happen, you're off, you're out. Now, this is the same here and in the States. So that's a major, major problem. Secondly, the average number of businesses that start every year is about 500,000 in the UK, about 500,000. The average number of businesses that fail in the UK is about 500,000. There's a problem. Because if the marketing automation software was supposed to be so good, why does that keep happening even in B2B? On top of that, the most staggering, I suppose, statistic is that the average, if you look at this slide, the average turnover per person per annum is about 100 grand. So if you're looking at businesses with about 10 people, it's about 100 grand. As you get bigger, up to 5 million, circa 50 people, the numbers increase, but not very much. So, and that's been the same for 10, 20 years. So you have to think, well, wait a second, why is that? If we, as B2B sales organisations, are not increasing that figure and haven't increased that figure, then the marketing isn't working, and the exposure that we're getting through automation platforms and the cost that's incurred in all of that is pointless. And then you look at some other businesses I mean, just take Google. Google do 1.2 million per person per annum. So it demonstrates that if we as the B2B industry are not able to scale our businesses, we're going to lose them. Especially now with the whole lockdown, COVID, and the ability to reach people has been stifled somewhat. You can't call people at home because you haven't got their mobile numbers. Nobody's at work. The people that do answer inbound calls for companies say, well, they're working from home and I'm not allowed to give out their mobile number. And so if you haven't got their mobile number or a method to communicate with them, you're stuffed, basically. So there has to be a better way of doing this. So we go back to this, this approach here. The old school doesn't work, but we keep going. Businesses keep going back to it. Excuse me, because marketing doesn't work. So you employs salespeople with a good track record who've got a decent black book, and you end up becoming reliant on them. So when times get hard, like they are now, the first departments to take a hit are marketing, because instinctively, that there's something not quite right. They never seem to deliver. And so you have to think of something new, which there isn't anything new until now. So this is the whole point of this presentation, is to say, look, this is what happened in the past. It didn't work. Nothing's changed in 50, 70 or 70 years. Even with the onset of marketing automation, still didn't work. Still didn't set everybody's world alight. This time next year, Rodney, we'll be millionaires. No. Businesses still have gone bust at the same rate. The turnover stayed the same. So therefore, that technology, pointless. It's just a grown-up method of spam. And yes, I do blame it on the marketers. Absolutely. And you'll see exactly why. So this methodology, this setup that I've got here, if you look at this, all this gear that we've got mics, lights, cameras, monitors, specific software that broadcasts over Facebook and so on and so on. So this is what is going to change the way that businesses can reach their prospects. So going live is the be-all and end-all, I think, in terms of prospecting. Work with me on this. Think about this. If you want to reach people, you have to. If you want to reach a lot of people, you've got to make a lot of phone calls. Yeah. The fact that one person can make about 80 calls a day. I know this because I sold phone systems integrated with CRM and integrated with auto dialers. So 80 calls a day if they're actually dialing it themselves. 100 calls a day if they're clicking on the number. With progressive dialing, you can get about 120, 150. So it pre-selects them. And then predictive dialing, which is it does automatic dialing and waits for them to answer and then connects you up. So you've got 4 ways of dialing. But call it 100 calls per person per day. It's a 200 to 1 shot. If you're making a phone call, if your telesales team are making calls, it takes 200 calls to find someone that might be interested. That's just interested. That's not come and have an appointment. That's just interested. The statistics and ratios are not something that you would want to put into a business plan and base your future on. So that's the initial problem. So you can't scale it. So whether you've got BDRs using Sales Navigator via LinkedIn, whether you're beating a stick with your salespeople and getting them to get on the phone, and they become all indignant and say, "Why should I do that? I'm a professional salesman. I shouldn't be telephoning." But the trouble is, you can't scale a phone call. You never could. And going back to my journey, how do you scale the generation of new business? And we're talking 30 years now, over 30 years, of constantly looking for the Xanadu, utopia, whatever you want to call it, the perfect way of generating new business. How do you do it? You do it this way. I mentioned earlier, and these are standard statistics, that 1% of your market are looking. The difference with B2B and B2C, there's this expectation that everything's going to go viral if you do it on the online. Why? It doesn't need to. It doesn't need to be. 1% of your market. So, say for example, you've already got the database. You're already using Salesforce, Dynamics, or Zoho, or whatever. So you've got a database. Say there's 10,000 people on that database. Even if there isn't, go and buy some data. It costs buttons. So you now got a 10,000 name database. Message them and say, come and watch us. Come and join us, pretty much like I've done. Come and join us. We are going to be talking about this today. And of your 10,000 people on your database, 100 of them are going to go, do you know what? I'll tune into that. Take a moment just to think about the numbers. How many people would you need to speak to on the phone to reach 100 people? Twice a week. You couldn't do it. It's impossible. You could not do it. Your costs, I mean, it's February. Next month, you probably will have your budget projections for the next year. And you look at those two rows. You've got a row for salespeople and a row for marketing people. And so within sales and marketing, you've got some significant costs. And those costs are going to be based upon people making outbound calls, BDRs, scouring LinkedIn and looking to connect with people, plus the salespeople, plus the marketing people, plus the people who are managing the marketing automation platform, the people that are writing the emails, doing the graphics, do everything. The team that you have for new business generation is significant for most people, for most businesses. And this is where it blows me away, absolutely blows me away. So, small investment, I mean, even to the point, this is scary. You've got one of these. Everyone's got one of these. It's got a camera on it, links to Facebook, put it on a tripod, you're away. So this is not about a money issue. This is not about how much money you're going to spend on, oh, thanks for listening to me, I've got this new product. It's not. It's about adapting what's around us to generate more business. We're entrepreneurs, aren't we? We're in business because we want to do this. We just adapt to our surroundings and use what we've got. So now you invite your audience to come and watch you with a schedule of programs that talk about your product and your services. And it goes out live. Now there's a big thing about live. And the most important is that, just to get an idea of today, I came into my office. Of course I set everything up beforehand. Of course I did. But I came into the office this morning. I turned all the switches on, turned all the lights on, everything was ready. And then back on my machine, I clicked on here to go live. And so I go live on Facebook and LinkedIn, Facebook and YouTube, on personal pages and public pages and so on, company pages. I'm still waiting to hear from LinkedIn. But you click go live, that's it. You're live. And you're now able to communicate to your audience. You deliver your address. You can have 1, 2, 3, 4. How many people do you want to have on a show? But think about this. You've got salespeople. Your salespeople are the people that are used to talking to customers. Get them in front of the camera. I mean, it could be that you as the managing director, you want yourself to be the face of the company. Clearly you know more about it than anybody else, but do you want to be that face? It doesn't matter. But at the end of the day, it's saying, right, we've got the staff, we've got the people that can sit in front of the camera, we've got all the technology around us, if we've got some cameras, what else can we do with them? Video. You use the same kit that you can have in a studio. A studio. What about a studio? Your office, potentially empty as it is, can be instantly converted with some sound blankets and backdrops like this. Put some lights in, bingo, you've got a studio. Cameras and tripods and this, that and the other set up. Walk in, switch on, you're live. Communicating to the largest audience that you could ever communicate to at the drop of a hat. Instantly. Do it do it twice a week. Do it once a week. Do it once a month. You're getting the picture now. You cannot send out emails to people to get and put a call to action on an email because they know you're going to chase them down. What you can do is say, hi, we're talking about our company anonymously. I mean, the screen I'm looking at now, I don't know who's looking at me. I don't know how many people are looking at me. If anybody's out there and want to say hi, just click in the comments and say hello, and I'll see it, but it still won't appear on the screen unless I put it on the screen. But the point of this is that people want to find out and research anonymously. They don't want to be pestered. I don't, and I know you don't, because I've been there. You know, I've cold called in the snow. I've door knocking, yeah, in the rain and the snow in Mayfair. Right the way through to doing mail shots or email shot. I've done everything. Exhibitions and so on and so on. But this is a game changer. This is a massive game changer. So you think about having some cameras. One thing I am going to do, the next live stream I do, I'm going to go through the kit and technology that's required for this. But the point, and if you want to call it a call to action, this is a call to action, is for you to think about this. Sad as it would be, but from a managing director's point of view, from a business owner's point of view, if I have to lose some of my staff and make them redundant or lay them off because I can't afford to keep them on because of what's happened out there in the big bad world, I'll have to do it. We have to make difficult decisions. But far better to be able to re-employ them at a later stage when things get good. Okay, fine. So how are things going to get good? The only way they're going to come good is if you can actually exponentially increase your reach. You ain't going to do it any other way. You cannot and will not, and you will never achieve it with cold calling. It doesn't matter what marketing efforts you put into place. Nobody is interested except at the rate that they have been interested in the past, and maybe less. That's saying if you do what you've always done, you'll get what you've always got. This methodology, this infrastructure that I'm recommending, means that you can dramatically reduce, I'll come on to something else, you can reduce the numbers of people that you've got dramatically. Employ 1 or 2 people to make all of this happen, all of this live happen, and contract out everything you need within marketing. You've slashed your costs, you've slashed your staffing costs, and you now have a greater reach than ever before, able to communicate with your audience on a regular basis on their terms. There is nothing like it. And you do not need thousands of people. You're not becoming a YouTuber or a YouTube or a YouTube influencer. You're communicating with your target specific audience, your vertical market that you've been looking to sell to for goodness knows how long. You're able now to say, right, here we are. Now the next part of all of this, when I finish this live stream, I'll save the recording. The live stream will appear on Facebook and YouTube for a period of time, but then we'll upload it. I'll upload it to my website. As part of that process, I'll get the transcript done through my own software, but I'll get the transcript done of everything that I've said. The transcript will be picked up by Google. And because of some other technical stuff, what will also happen is that Google search will know exactly what I've said in this video. If you just post a video up, Google doesn't search the words that you've used. There might be, I think there's the text coming up now, but that's done live. It's not stored anywhere. So you've seen captions, so we can do that. So this live stream becomes a live stream now to you. It goes on my website, on my YouTube channel, on my Facebook channel. on my website because it's along with the transcript, and Google sees that for half an hour live broadcast is about 20 pages of A4 or more. Depends if I talk quickly. This exponentially increases your content with virtually zero effort. You just need to know which buttons to click and what to do. This is, I said it before, this is a massive game changer. And it moves on to another part of all of this, which is now you've got the cameras and gear. And like I said before, you can start with this. But once you've got the cameras and gear, you go, wait a second. We're not going to do it on an iPhone. We're going to look a bit more professional than that, because you're looking at your competition. What would your competition do? If they get onto it, if someone uses one of these, you go, well, we'll trump that, we'll go and get our own gear. So say, for example, you do get your own equipment. You then use that same equipment to start recording videos on it, because this is about digital selling, not about doing a corporate video. You have products, you have customers, product stories, customer stories, implementation stories. You've got the feature attribute benefit type story. This is what we've got, this is what it does, this is how it benefits you. You've got a multitude of different, call it subjects, that you can video. And like I just said before, once you've got your transcript, you've got loads of content, you put that video on your website, you put it on the different locations. You've just changed your whole business model massively. What you've done is, this is true digital transformation. You've transformed your manual process of selling and marketing to digital marketing, and in my term of digital marketing and digital selling. So who sold the product? Do you pay commission? In this scenario, who sold it? You've had someone in front of a camera talking to an audience. The audience come back every week, twice a week, because they're really in the market. You don't know who they are. Then they've gone onto your website, they've downloaded, and when you look at our website, there's stacks of information on it. I'm not interested in your email. So people will go onto your website, they'll look at the content, they'll watch the content, read the content, download the content. I mean, one of the things that you can do on here, for example, this is our website, so you can see. Yes, we do. We've got leads. If we look at the different services we've got, this is exactly the same for you. You say, right, you can take your staff, you can take your prospects on a journey, live, en masse. You cannot do this on a telephone call. You're still listening to me. Could you imagine a telesales person being able to hold the attention of a prospect on a phone call for this long? Would never happen. They would have got the brush off by now. So that's the story. The story is, you have no choice except to go live. But in doing so, you drop a massive amount of cost in staff costs and in human resources and marketing costs. The list goes on, it's endless. It completely flips your budget projection for next year. And the other part of it, we know that there are lots of there are lots of opportunities for staff to learn in the big wide world. If people lose their jobs all the time, it's unfortunate. But I would, with a heavy heart, lose some staff than lose my business. If it means keeping people on for 6 more months before you go belly up, no, I wouldn't do it. I've been there a long time ago, but I've been there. So I know what it's like. So the point of this is saying, right, it's a re-evaluation time. You've got to look at this, because your staff can be reskilled. You've got audio stuff, you've got lighting and so on, and there's training. And that's, I suppose, is it a call to action? Yeah, maybe it is. But that's what we do. That's what I specialise in. I'll help you get the cameras and mics and lights and teach your staff how to get it all set up and to look at it and set them on a journey that they can continue learning. And you can go live next week if you wanted to. And we could run everything for you, so you didn't even have to learn about any of this. And you contract everything out. So you contract out your live streaming, and you contract out all of the content creation that's necessary through other sources. And the thing is, there has been a fundamental problem with marketing, even down to the content. We look at content on people's websites, and I have been told, well, I've put some content online, and it's 2 or 3 or 4 paragraphs. Google expect you to create, if you want this to be referenced, they expect you to create 2,000 to 6,000 words in an article, with bullets and numbers and pictures and graphics and references and links, you name it, in order that you can get onto page 1 of Google. So, but your people have been hiding all their content through landing pages and email forms. So people don't know. And the reason Google say it needs to be in that structure is they know that way of structuring your content engages people. They read it. So there's a lot of things that can be done, a significant number of things that can be done. And that's going to be it for this live stream. You know, we've all heard and seen and met people that talk a good story. Well, there is no better way of talking a good story than obviously live streaming. But like I said before, you know, which camera to go? We've got everything set up. I've done it. I've done this. Now, you know, depending on who you like on television, it is about getting comfortable with it and being relaxed and not flushing if you make a mistake. But the point is that all this aside, you've already got the staff that can sit in front of the camera. You've got people that are gregarious and outgoing and would be very comfortable sitting in front of a camera, talking to a load of people. It might be that the most gregarious and outgoing and affable person you've got isn't a very good salesperson, but he's great in front of customers. Put him in front of the camera, keep him on. And the list, I mean, I hope this has given you some food for thought to think, wait a second. You know, when you look at that budget projection and you look at next year's forecasts and you think, that guy Nigel, that sounded really good actually. But you know, how much is it? You've already got an iPhone. And if you've got iPhone 12s, they're really good. And you could have 4 of them, 3 of them, all linked up, all switching, exactly like this, using one of these. I mean, it is. I'm going to just show you something. So this kind of proves how live this is. Let's go on to video, and I'm just going to show you one quick thing that you can do. I mean, this is just instant. That's really bad. Back on again. So what I'm going to do is switch this over. Wait there a second. I'm just going to show you that you can put. Oh, well, that confirms it's live. I can't find the adapter. Yes, I can. Here it is. That you're able to do this very quickly and just plug cameras in, especially iPhones. See, I haven't gone red yet because of that issue. So what we've got here, if I go on to, this is my iPhone. So when I say that you can use your iPhone to do this, here I am. You can see in the monitor. This is the switching equipment that we use. And then I'll come back to camera 1. It's as simple as that. But your reach becomes unlike anything that you've ever done before. So that's it. That's it. I just want you to think about this. As far as call to actions are concerned, you're watching Facebook. Sorry, you're watching on Facebook. You can link to our website. Our email address is on there. Everything's there. You know how to get in touch with us. And I hope you have a great day. And this is our outro. I'll see you in the next one. And I'll email you again as well. Bye for now.